Hey guys, this is Serving Up Comics. I'm your host, Gina Versa, and I'm joined today by my co-host,
Nick Valero. How's it going, guys?
Nick. Good of you to join us. This is the third episode. Can you believe that already?
I know, right? It feels like we just started the other day.
Yeah. So, just how are you doing, Nick?
Doing
November?
good.
Yeah.
Doing
November
good.
is
Huh?
November's a big comic book month. Sometimes a lot of titles just randomly launch in around Thanksgiving. Watchmen, or excuse me, I think Watchmen ended there, and Doomsday Clock.
And Doomsday Clock is picking back up now during that time and everything else. Yeah, I mean it's been a really good time for comic books and everything like that. I do know that what was it? And it's also a really good time for video games too. I mean, shit, there's a bunch of video games coming out right now. But that's
I've been addicted to Death Stranding since I got it.
Really, I've actually been addicted to Fallen Jedi.
Okay.
Fallen Order. It's super good. If you haven't gotten it, go get it. It's really fun.
Okay. I'd also recommend Death Stranding.
Yeah. Also, Pokemon. I'm
Pokemon?
also addicted to Pokemon as well.
Okay. I'll take your word for that. Sure, why not? So just going right into it, let's go to our pool list. You know, you said that I've said that a lot of interesting comics come out around this time. I guess it helps with seasonal depression. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we mentioned Doomsday Clock, and can you believe 2 years later it's finally finishing? It took them 2 years to finally finish it.
You know what? I'm going to go under the assumption that until it actually finishes and I get a final issue, that I'm not it's not done. Like, no matter what announcement they make, whether or not they say it's going to finish within the next couple of weeks or anything the next couple of months. And until I get a final issue and you get a conclusion to this story, I'm still going to go with it. It's ongoing, and it could go on for longer.
What if they do a 13th issue?
Oh, man, I don't know. Like, this story was so cool, and it was so interesting, and then it's taken so many weird turns that it's still interesting. It's just the hype is kind of gone.
Yeah, I think I've said it before where some moments in the story just kind of they play out like fan fiction.
Yeah.
The scenes with Guy Gardner punching Dr. Manhattan in the face is weird, and I mean we've probably discussed that before, but has the show Watchmen, which is great, which seems like the proper Watchmen sequel, has that influenced your opinion on the comic by any chance?
Well, you know what the thing is that I like the way that this is all. I do like the idea that what was it? Watchmen, the TV show on HBO, is actually helping people actually find Watchmen for the first time.
Okay.
And I have a coworker of mine, and as he's starting to watch Watchmen, and he immediately started going wait, so what happened here? What's going on here? Who is this person? And wait, so they're assuming that Laurie Blake is whose daughter? And I was like, dude, just read the comic book and you'll get all of it. You'll just it's all gonna make sense to you. And it's great. You should go read it. And he's like, all right. So I'm gonna bring him the comic book tomorrow because he wants to watch it. But I mean, yeah. I do think that it is, as of right now. I mean, out of the I think it's 6 episodes that are out now.
5. Yeah.
5 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's about halfway through its season, and it's pretty damn good. It's really good. Anybody the idea of the police masking up, and more and more people and vigilantes are now joining on are joining on to the police force so that way they can fight crime legally and stuff. It has a lot of really good ideas. It really does.
I mean, it's the natural progression of what would have happened in this universe.
I know Alan Moore is never gonna probably fucking watch it. and
Nope.
he's never because he's already said he'll never fucking watch it.
Right, yeah, he's retired from all public life. Who knows?
And well, not only that, but also he's retired from like, you know, giving a shit about any of his, like, anything that he didn't work on personally and stuff like that. And, I mean, he's an asshole, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he's not the best.
yeah, but I mean, besides that, I mean, I think that Watchmen the TV show is definitely a show that you should be watching right now. It's definitely one of those things. And I mean, if you're gonna go along those lines, I really think you should be watching the CW Arrowverse right now too. If you're a huge fan of comic books, this season of all the series on the CW are playing out like a comic book. They're playing out like an event comic, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
yeah.
Huh?
No, I mean, the fact that they finally united every single show in their arsenal is a pretty interesting time, I would imagine, including Black Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool, but I love the idea, because right now what they're doing in the very beginning of the seasons of Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, what was it, and all these other ones, is it's leading to it's leading to the Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of Arrow's final season is all, we're dealing with a crisis. We have to figure out how to stop this. And we're running out of time. We only have a couple of weeks left until this crisis is supposed to be here. Flash is doing exactly the same thing. We only have so long until this crisis hits. How are we going to be prepared when the crisis does come? And, like, they're trying to find heroes, and they're trying to do everything like that before the crisis hits. And it's really interesting because it plays out like side issues of an event. It's playing out like not necessarily the main issues of it, but very much the back pages or anything else, so that way you can get more and more of the story.
Mm.
And that to me is like so cool. It's really awesome on how exactly they're connecting everything and making everything feel like you're watching a comic book.
Who have they recruited so far in their thing? Because the original Crisis, it has like the most random roster at the very beginning. It's like Earth 2 Superman,
You have
Sergeant Rock.
Yeah, you have like three. I think you have like 3 or 4 different Supermen that are going to be in this one. So
they need a lot of those.
Yeah, which they're going to have a Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's going to be there. It's going to be Kevin Conroy is going to be their Batman. What was it? You're also going to have Huntress, who's going to be coming from.
She'll finally come back.
Yeah, Huntress is coming back from the old Birds of Prey TV show.
Oh, I thought you meant the Arrow Huntress. Sorry.
No. They actually got the old Huntress that was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman in the old Birds of Prey TV show in the early 2000s.
If people don't remember that, it's because it lasted only a season.
Yeah, it's like 12 episodes. If you don't remember it, it's not a big deal. But it's awesome that it's coming back, because when I was a kid, it was an awesome show.
Yeah, I never watched it. I mean, it's on the Universe app, but
yeah,
it's cool.
I was
just gonna say the Arrow Huntress. She just went back to her home planet, and no one ever heard from her again.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know. I think that's I don't know. That I think that Arrow realizes the things that it did right, and it realizes the things it did wrong, and it realizes that, like, Huntress is kind of a weird. We didn't do Huntress a justice, because she's a really cool character and stuff like that. And the actress they got for her in the very beginning. I mean, it was very early CW. It's a very early CW TV show of, like, we care more about the fact that they look good than their acting, and, like, if they understand the material. That's I mean, it's first season of a CW show. It's okay. I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
And everything else, but I mean, so far their roster's pretty awesome. You got Brandon Routh coming back as Superman. You have Tom Welling coming back as Superman. You have who else? Huntress, which is going to connect in the Batman '89 universe, which is going to be awesome. What was it? You have Kevin Conroy playing the Kingdom Come Batman, because he's gonna have like the metal harness that goes around him, so that way he can move because he's so old.
Nice. Yeah.
So what was it? You have that. I mean, you have Batwoman. You also have. I mean, you have a plethora of heroes, and that's awesome. And then Ray Palmer's leaving. So who is the replacement for Ray Palmer in the comics? I can't remember his name right now.
Ryan Choi.
Yeah, Ryan Choi is going to be joining the Legends.
Mm.
So Ryan Choi is going to be introduced inside of Crisis, and yeah, man, like it's gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean this reminds me of just having all your like action figures, just throw them out on the floor, and you're just like picking up whatever. So like whatever like catches your eye, and putting them all together in some interesting adventure. So yeah. I mean, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, if you're a fan of comic books, go check out this season of the Arrowverse. I mean, if anything, just try and get it down so that way you can watch Crisis this year. Crisis is going to be awesome. It's going to have every hero that they've put inside these TV shows, and hopefully they can put them all together for one giant splash page of a scene. Just very Avengers, Avengers Endgame-esque, and I do want to see all of them just kind of splash paged across, dealing with the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm all for that. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So I guess just going, because this is just our pool list, just going to what we're watching currently. Well, you're watching Titans season 2, and it seems like the hype for the show has certainly been growing. It had a very, very rough start, very memeable start.
Yes,
I would say "fuck Batman" became the meme to end all memes at Comic-Con last year.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like when Titans first came out, I do feel like the show didn't know what it was. It didn't. Okay. It didn't understand the life that it could have, and it didn't know what type of show it could be. And it turns out very weird, because you have this instance of Robin trying to come to terms with himself.
Okay.
Robin, very much trying to. He blames Bruce for, all the evil and the anger that's inside of him, and he's very angry, but you don't really know why. You don't know why, he does the things he does, and then you have this weird thing with Raven, where everybody's trying to protect her and stuff like that, and it just kind of ends really suddenly and abruptly. The show very much ends on a mid-season finale. Which is, I mean, not a mid-season finale, like the episode prior to a season finale. You could feel it, because there's a bunch of setup to this episode. There is like, like Robin goes evil, and then like he becomes an agent of Trigon, and then they end up getting everybody else, and they're possessed by Trigon, and then it's like, now what are we gonna do? And then the season ends. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of like, what the fuck just happened? Like, why did that happen? And when you got back this second season, they started off with Trigon, and they beat Trigon in an episode. And then are like, yeah, now we're going to live in San Francisco, and we're going to be the Titans. But they never mentioned at no point in the previous season did they ever mention there was a Titans. They never mentioned the fact that, yes, we had a group before. They only said, like, yeah, all of us used to kind of do crime, fight crime together and stuff like that. In this season, they very much have confirmed, yes, there used to be a Titans. We disbanded because of Deathstroke. Like, Deathstroke very much broke us up. And it was the death of Jericho that really did it for us. Huh?
That messed us all up.
Yeah, that messed us all up, and now you have Deathstroke's daughter, and you have like these new Titans that they're trying to train with Jason and Raven, Beast Boy, Hawk, Dove, and Wonder Girl, and Starfire, and you're trying to kind of figure out, okay, so where do these characters fit? And instead of being a Titan show, it very much is a Dick Grayson show, but it's still good because it's all the last couple episodes that I've seen are all about Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing, becoming solidified as a leader, and believing in his abilities to lead.
Right, because with his falling out with Bruce, and he doesn't quite believe in himself. Would you say?
That, but also what they mention is that it's not just his falling out with Bruce. He has a falling out with Bruce because he gets Jericho killed.
Right.
So he basically does what Bruce would have done. He used Jericho. He befriended him. He used him so that we can get information on Deathstroke, and then things happen, and then Jericho ends up getting killed, and he very much blames himself on that. He blames himself because he feels that he did use Jericho, and if it wasn't for him, he'd be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hard thing for him to deal with, but it is really interesting to kind of go, oh yeah, he did make mistakes. He did do all these things, but he is now using that to empower himself, and he is now going to become Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's his main arc too, and especially in the comics, breaking free of Robin and any previous mistakes. Did you find? I've heard Superboy is interesting. Where was it? They're telling him now they're kind of doing a Man of Steel thing where they're kind of telling him to hide.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Well, it's mainly because LexCorp is searching for him. They're hunting him down because they very much have said, yeah, LexCorp, because he was being created by Cadmus, kind of. It was more he was being created by LexCorp instead of being created by Cadmus. And stuff like that, and that's really good, and it's really interesting. He also gets like these flashes of memories. He gets flashes of like Clark's childhood. He also gets flashes of Lex Luthor's childhood, and he's very much dealing with who am I? Am I Lex Luthor? Am I Superman, or am I something else? Am I someone else? And if I am somebody else, who am I? Am I a hero? Should I just hide, or should I, be a hero? Should I do what I think is right?
And yeah, that's a really interesting struggle. I mean, I would say, does it do it better than Man of Steel, which is
yes, absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely, it does.
I want you to expand on that.
Because it's not necessarily the idea of because in Man of Steel, there's very much this idea of there is a shadow government out there that if Clark Kent happens to accidentally let people know who he is, they will come and take him away in the night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this shadow government thing that you never really see in Man of Steel. Like it's this like kind of conspiracy theory that Pop Kent has. Like the world's not ready for you right now. You need to wait until you're ready and until the world is ready, type thing. But also, if you expose yourself, you could get taken away. People might start asking questions. Yada yada yada.
Right.
In this one, very much so, they show that the shadow government very much exists, and they are actively hunting down Superboy.
Wrapping up your kind of like mid-season review of Titans, are you looking forward to what it will bring? Because I think it's interesting that like they have the actor who's Jorah, whose name escapes me, as Batman.
Yeah.
And he seems good, but he's so old. And it seems like it's really going off of, I don't know, kind of ideas we've seen in Young Justice, where it's like, what happens when like the original heroes of the DC universe just get old? Like Batman isn't that young, and I'm sure Superman the same as well.
Well, the actor's name is Ian Glenn.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that I like it though. I like the idea of this is a older Bruce But the thing is that also Bruce Wayne really isn't in the show, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But he is in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what you see of Bruce is not the actual Bruce Wayne. It's more of like Dick Grayson's conscience, or like what he thinks Bruce would tell him. So he's a little wittier. He's a little funnier. He's a lot like sharper. So he says things that that are like a lot meaner and stuff like that. But the thing is that only Dick can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like, so it's really interesting because when he actually does show up in the show later on, he's very like mentor, and he's very wise and stuff like that. And I like it. I like him a lot as like an older Batman. He does have a fight with Dick Grayson, and he uses batarangs, which is pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And everything else. But I mean, like he fights a lot more like a brute than like a martial artist and stuff like that. He fights very much like what was it? The Dark Knight Rises, where he's more of a brute. He's more of a like a street brawler. Mm. Like he can take a lot of pain, but he can also dish out a lot of pain too. Mm. And stuff like that. But yeah, I like him a lot. I think that it's good casting. I think it's more weird just because he's so known for Game of Thrones that when you hear him without an accent, it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
Yeah,
I could hear him with an American accent. So it's a little weird.
Yeah, it just seems off. I was just gonna say the only other thing for that was he does do the bat dance, right?
he does do the bat dance. That was fucking hilarious.
that was the most clever Easter egg I've seen in a while.
Yeah, what was it? They did the bat dance so effortlessly because he is an illusion of Dick's, where no one really, the only person that's seeing it is Dick Grayson. Mm-hmm. And he's doing the bat dance. He's he is having so much fucking fun, like that. And I think that's the greatest thing. I don't know if anybody who's played Batman has had this much fun since Adam West, but I do know that Glenn is having so much fun. Like he looks like he's having fun. He looks like he's enjoying being Batman and stuff like that. Like it's not a paycheck. It's like this is a lot of fun. This is a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you. Yeah, he seems to be having the time of his life.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. I definitely recommend Titans season 2. Go check it out. I mean, hell, I recommend anything on the DC universe. I mean, all their shows so far are doing pretty well. I mean, hell, this is from Titan season 1 to Titan season 2. It's a total 180 from a show in which I wasn't too sure I liked. Mm-hmm. And I was probably going to drop to a show where I'm going, okay, I can't wait for season 3. Season 3 is going to be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, season 3, let's see what happens, right?
Yeah, and if you happen to get a chance, go watch Doom Patrol, because all of that season is out, and Doom Patrol was definitely the show they should have started with.
Yeah, I was loving everything I saw with Doom Patrol.
Yeah, like Doom Patrol is very much the show that they should have aired first on DC Universe, but unfortunately Doom Patrol isn't as well known as like the Teen Titans.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so I understand it, but I think that Doom Patrol is almost like it almost had a perfect season. Like every episode I enjoyed it. I loved the cast. I loved like the entire how weird the episodes got, just because it's like, why not? It's Doom Patrol. Who gives a shit? The Doom Patrol was weird.
Yeah, I mean, who's having these expectations for Doom Patrol with everything else on that out right now? I mean, they're such niche characters.
Yeah, I mean the Doom Patrol is so niche and they're so interesting that you're like, okay, I like it. Like I like this a lot. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really did. I see. My thing is that I would have really liked to have seen how Garfield kind of gets there, because I know Garfield Logan ends up getting with the Doom Patrol and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And I thought the idea of Titans, in Titans, I mean, not in Titans, in Young Justice, they actually made a nice connection on how Garfield Logan ends up with the Doom Patrol
Mhm.
is actually quite interesting. Because they make it that Rita was friends with his mom,
Yeah. Yeah.
and his
Somewhat.
mom was an actress, and she was his godmother. So when his
Mhm.
mom dies in Bialia, he goes to go live with her, and then she dies on a mission with the Doom Patrol.
Yeah. That's
And then
sad. That's so sad.
yeah, like everybody Garfield just goes with dies, and it's so
Mhm.
sad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
I do want to see more out of Garfield. I feel like Beast Boy hasn't had enough to do, but also I feel like Beast Boy is also a super hard character to do in like live action,
mhm.
just because he's all CGI. He's just a CGI character. It's super hard. It's super
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you there, man. So just last topic. We're now entering the soapbox, so you could stand on there, say whatever opinion you want. And the topic of today is the Joker, the movie that came out last month. It's the first R-rated film to ever hit $1 billion. And it kind of lit up a lot of discussion. It had a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of negative speculation around it,
Mhm.
but thankfully nothing happened. But it also gave us a opening for more mature, and when I mean mature, like R-rated films from DC and potentially a Joker too. What was it? But firstly, Nick, what was your opinion of the Joker? Because I don't think we talked about this. I didn't even ask you about it.
You know what? I actually really really liked it.
Okay.
I really liked the Joker. I felt like it had a lot of really cool deep cuts.
Hmm.
In the movie itself, actually, I spent the time to go watch Kings of Comedy and Taxi Driver the day before I went to go watch it.
You could have just watched that too, and you would have
Yeah,
been fine. You would have
uh,
been fine.
yeah. I ended up watching them just because I was like, oh well, I hear they're like, Joker's an homage of these two films,
Hmm.
and they're almost like, just like complete, like if somebody got the movies and just mashed them together and then altered a couple things and then put it in the DC universe, and they were like, all right, cool, we're done.
Yeah, it's like it. Yeah, there. I mean, there's homages, and then there's like, oh man, this is just kind of like Kings of Comedy.
Yeah, and I mean, there is still a lot of differences between it and Kings of Comedy and Taxi Driver. It does have a lot of those. I did think that it was interesting because it did have those scenes, with what was it, with like him fucking around with his with the gun, just like in Taxi Driver where he's fucking around with the guns, or where he's yelling at his mom because he's trying to record something in Kings of Comedy. He's trying to record his like stand up and stuff like that, and he doesn't his mom keeps interrupting the record. And but the thing is that I really did like the idea of the Joker and his mother weren't accurate narrators.
Yeah, they were
They,
always lying. They had a lot of false, kind of like false narratives of their own.
yeah, and I liked that. I kind of liked that from a Joker movie, because most times whenever you get like a narration, for the most part, you believe what the narrator is telling you. The narrator
Mhm.
is saying that, he ended up getting with the girl from down the hall. They ended up having a relationship, and they were showing it for like a good majority of the movie and stuff like that. But I mean, it is really interesting of just kind of going like, are they good narrators, and then it does give you those little tiny hints of maybe they are good narrators. Like what was it when Joaquin Phoenix is going through his mom's stuff after she dies, and ends up finding a photo saying, "I love your smile, Thomas Wayne." It says TW, and like, he kind of looks at it, and then like it's kind of like a quick glance, but it's also one of those things of like, well, maybe she wasn't lying. Like everybody's saying that she's batshit crazy, but what about if she isn't lying? And
there's some truth to her life.
Yeah, like maybe her lie does have a little bit of truth, or even maybe maybe Thomas Wayne was hitting on her, or maybe like kind of giving her the idea of it, and maybe she had an entire relationship in her mind, like what was it, like Joker did, like Arthur did. And it's so interesting of kind of going like, shit, who's telling the truth here? Whose story is the right one? Whose story is the wrong one?
Yeah, I'll just interject. I wasn't the biggest fan of Joker, to be honest with you. I just didn't. I felt that I just wasn't rewarded as a viewer, where it seems like this movie's building towards this big climax, and the release is just he kills De Niro on air, and then the city riots. And spoilers, the origin of Batman. I felt very underwhelmed, and at times it was just very on the nose with its homages to Taxi Driver, and it felt just a little tryhardy. But I loved Joaquin. Not to poo-poo on it too much, but I loved how Gotham was just New York in the 80s, and the fact that they made Thomas Wayne pretty much Donald Trump was
they did.
It was kind of pretty interesting.
I mean, the only thing that I think Thomas Wayne didn't say was fake news as he barged out of the bathroom.
But I mean, clowns.
Yeah, he called him a clown and everything like that. But I mean, no, I think the only thing he was missing was that. But I mean, in general, the main reason why I liked it was, I know some people didn't like it because they were like, I don't like the idea that the Joker was given a backstory or
right.
And everything. I don't mind that. I really don't, because for all you know, the entire movie takes place with him in an insane asylum. Yeah,
I mean, it could.
Everything that happens, it could just be in his own head.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't mind Joker having an origin. I'm partial to the Killing Joke. It was, I mean, that was fine. Like the origin of the Joker, like I am not opposed to that as a Batman fan.
To be totally honest, I would be okay with if in Joker 2, it is a different origin.
Yeah,
it's another, or it's another. It still has Joaquin Phoenix, and it has like a totally different vibe to it, and it's something totally different. Where like he has a wife, and like she's like getting involved with the mob and some shit like that. And I know it would confuse the fuck out of everybody. Of just like,
no, Nick, it would confuse all the Joker origins, because every single article I read about the Joker was, did he kill Zazie Beetz? Did he do this? Was it all in his head? Why did he dance? It's like, did anyone like watch the movie who like loves this movie so much? Did they like actually pay attention, or are they just saying they love it? Because like it's obvious he didn't kill her, No,
yeah, he doesn't kill her. He's dancing because he's finally free. He's finally able to, be honest with himself and with everybody else on, what he thinks is comedy and what he thinks is so interesting. Yeah. But I think the most amazing thing that from the movie is Joaquin Phoenix, though. I think Joaquin Phoenix really did kill it as this character, for somebody, I mean, for the last Joker to be so shitty. And,
Leto, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because Jared Leto, I feel like, had an idea of what it meant to be the Joker, but he didn't know how to play the Joker.
Right, yeah, he's all over the place.
He's all over the place. He doesn't know whether or not he's insane. He doesn't know if he's if he's a gangster. He doesn't know what exactly it means to be the Joker. And, he has like these weird quirks where he's like, I mean, I get like the whole like, oh, it's dark and edgy, and we're gonna make him tattooed, and we're gonna, give him like fucking filled in teeth because Batman's beat the shit out of him so much that he's lost all of his teeth and stuff like that. But I mean, you don't need that. You don't need all of it.
Right. Well, his Joker was very. It was just different than any other incarnation. Even I mean, my preferred Joker is still Heath Ledger, but yeah, it felt different enough where these feel like different performances.
I mean, I would definitely, if I were to have to like put them in a list, it would probably be Heath, Hamill, which are most likely Joaquin Nicholson, and then all the way at the bottom.
There's like 10 pounds of shit, and then there's Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, there's 10 pounds of shit, then Jared Leto. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I mean, the only good thing that came out of Suicide Squad and Jared Leto's Joker probably is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the Birds of Prey movie. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, and everything else, but I like that idea, and a lot of people were saying, oh, well, he's the Joker, and like how exact, because I know some people had a problem with it with the timeline. Like their timeline was a little off because he would be in like probably in like his 30s, maybe 40s.
Yeah, but it's probably like the dude that inspired the real Joker.
Exactly. Yeah, and I like that. I'm okay with that idea of like there was this guy that inspired Bruce Wayne's Joker. He inspired.
Right.
And
that's not the problem with the movie. I felt I mean just that this was the proto Joker. Just the way that they included the Wayne murder was just so tacked on. Like we didn't need to see that again.
Well, I think that was I'm pretty sure that was a reshoot though. From what I heard,
it feels like a reshoot. Like I wasn't there on set, but it really feels like that.
I do feel like it was a reshoot though, because I remember hearing something about like, oh yeah, like that is a reshoot, and right. it was added on at the end. But I mean, I'm okay. I didn't feel too bad about the Wayne murders and everything like that. It does feel kind of tacked on at the end. The Wayne murders weren't the deal breaker for me. If anything, actually in the movie theater, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna kill the Waynes.
Yeah.
During this, and I was like, all right, cool, let's kill the Waynes. Come on, let's do it.
Right. I think just just wrapping up here, since we're short on time. I didn't like how the sympathy lied a little too much with Joker. I'm like, this guy's kind of fucking creepy. He stalks women, follows them to their work. He just kind of creeps me out. Like, I don't feel bad for him. Like,
no, but from the way that I took it is that you're taking the sympathy for the Joker because the Joker is the one that's narrating this to you. You're seeing it through his eyes.
You're right.
So you're trying to see his empathy towards it, and that's where you're getting the empathy from it. Whereas when you see it from an outside perspective, somebody who's not involved in the situation, or like an onlooker, it's fucking weird. It's like a weird fucking relationship he has with his mom. It's a weird relationship he has. It's a weird relationship he has with fucking everybody. Mm-hmm. It's just him with weird relationships or non-existent relationships.
Right.
And it's interesting just to watch. It's like a fucking like science experiment where you're watching like a subject.
Well,
just like
some experiments fail though.
Yeah. But I mean if they're gonna give it a sequel and everything like that, I mean I'm okay with that. I really am. I wouldn't mind seeing like a full movie of just him becoming like this iconic villain.
Right.
And stuff like that. Or, I mean, even if I wouldn't mind if you had like a cop drama where.
Yeah, I mean, just something different. Just going on that note, just one last thing because we're trying to. Would you want to see any other DC villains or heroes in this in a Joker-esque movie?
I want to see Calendar Man. In a 7 like esque movie.
Okay.
Let's do the fucking Long Halloween. And because Calendar Man does not get enough credit, and he's such a cool villain, and he's so weird.
Oh yeah, it's he's regenerative now in the current continuity, where he ages and then like is reborn every 12 months or something like that.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. Or even Mr. Pig.
Mr. Pig's or Pig? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like PIIG or something like that, or PIG.
Yeah, I had one for you. I don't know, it's kind of boring, but Lex Luthor, played by Bryan Cranston, and it's based off of the Brian Azzarello graphic novel Luthor.
I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be really cool. I like the idea of that. I also wouldn't mind if you were gonna do one and you were just like, let's just waste fucking money. Let's just do it. Let's just waste some fucking money. Condiment King.
Condiment King, Jesus Christ.
Because I want to see his evolution to putting the suit on.
Yeah.
I want Condiment King so goddamn badly in a movie because he's so underrated and he'll never show up. And I know this, but the day he does as a minor villain in a movie is gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But Nick, that's it for this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was great. Just talking comics, man. But where can people find you at?
You can find me at the Nick Valero on Twitter and Instagram. You could also find me at Nick Valero on Facebook as well.
Thank you. You could find me on Twitter, Instagram, G9892. You could follow the Waffle Press at the Waffle Press, and please subscribe on this video. We're on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. Follow the links below. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been professionally unprofessional.